Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschakta Deshatarine Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are having a seminar on Harinam Chintamani by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which is describing the holy name is like a touchstone. In this way, he is glorifying the holy name and its way it gives its benediction. So, therefore, we selected a verse, the first verse from the Shikshashtakam to be discussed today. And so the first one goes like Cheta Darpanam Arjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Koirava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Vadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Bardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Shwadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Parang Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So, the verse is on the board, and I'm sure most of you know the verse, so you can recite the verse. Nirvapanam Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vadhu Jivanam. How many of you memorized this verse already? So most of you have done that. Still we'll go through the word by word for word meaning. Chetaha of the heart. Darpana, the mirror. Marjanam, cleansing. Bhava, of material existence. Mahadava Agni, the blazing forest fire. Nirvapanam, extinguishing. Shreyaha, the good fortune. Kairava, on the white lotus. Chandrika, the moonshine. Vitaranam, spreading. Vidya, of all education. Badhu, wife. Jivanam, the life. Ananda, of bliss. Ambudhi, the ocean. Bardhanam, increasing. Pratipadam, at every step. Purna Amrita, of the full nectar. Ashwadanam, giving a taste. Sarva, for everyone. Atmasnapanam, bedding of the self. Param, transcendental. Vijayate, let there be victory. Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, for the congregational chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years together and thus extinguishes the fire of conditioned life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not leave anything in writing besides these 8 verses. So that actually shows the importance of these 8 verses that are known as Shikshashtakam. Through these 8 verses, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given his shiksha, his teachings. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute the holy name, and his entire teachings are based on the holy name. And this Shikshashtakam is actually giving the gradual understanding of the holy name. Starting with this verse, which is you can say the introduction to the holy name. What is the holy name? What does the holy name do? Chetodarpana marjanam. That's the first thing that it does. Our consciousness is polluted in this material nature, and it purifies our consciousness. The consciousness is projected through the mind. Therefore, the mind has been compared to a mirror. The consciousness is coming from the soul, and through the mind it is being projected. Through the mind, it is going through the senses. And the senses, the 5 senses, are giving us the perception of this material nature. And that is the very basic mistake actually that we got entrapped in. In the material nature, we are entrapped, we are entangled in this material nature because our consciousness is being projected in a wrong direction. The consciousness should be projected towards Krishna. It's coming from Krishna, and it should be projected towards Krishna or be tuned into Krishna's consciousness. That is the constitutional activity of consciousness. The consciousness is meant to be Krishna conscious. But the moment we turn our face away from Krishna, Krishna bohir mukh hoiya bhogovancha kare. The moment we turn our face away from Krishna, then we perceive Krishna's inferior nature, inferior energy, Maya. And nikatastha Maya tare japutiya dhare. Immediately the Maya traps him and embraces him tightly. Japutiya dhare means very tightly embraces him. And it has been further explained that since the living entity is jivas are coming from Krishna's superior nature, and Maya, although Krishna's energy, but she is Krishna's inferior nature. Therefore, the superior nature naturally develops a tendency to exploit Maya or material nature. It is a natural tendency of the superior to exploit the inferior or lord over the inferior, dominate over the inferior. And that causes the entrapment of the false ego. The false ego means mistaken identity. Our actual identity is lost and we develop a false identity. Actually, we all are Krishna's servants. By nature, in our constitutional position, we all are servants. But the moment we look towards the material nature or look towards Krishna's inferior energy, we develop a tendency to lord over because we become superior in relation to the material nature. This is an inferior nature and we are coming from the superior nature. So we naturally develop a tendency to lord over. And that is the influence of false ego or bondage of false ego. Then we begin to consider how we are going to exploit this material nature. We get the second covering of intelligence. And then our consciousness continues to flow towards the material direction through the mind. In this way, the spirit soul, as soon as he looks away from Krishna, becomes entrapped in this material nature by these three subtle elements: false ego, intelligence, and mind. And with that he develops his subtle body. And then according to the shape of the subtle body, material nature rewards him with a gross body. So this is the cause of our entanglement in the material nature. Our consciousness has become polluted. So it needs cleansing. All the spiritual activities are designed to cleanse our consciousness. But most of them are very, very difficult. Like austerity, penance, yoga, meditation. These are all very arduous process. So arduous that most of the time it becomes impossible to achieve perfection. Even great, great personalities fail to achieve perfection. Like Vishwamitra, for 64,000 years he was practicing this process of meditation. But he fell down. He failed. Then he had to start again. So you can see how difficult it is. Whereas the holy name, it just by chanting the holy name, we can very easily cleanse the mirror of our mind. Cheto darpana marjanam. And as a result of that, what happens? Bhava maha davagni nirvapanam. Sangsara dava nalalidha loka. We all are burning in the forest fire of material existence. And this davagni, the forest fire of material existence, nirvapanam. Nirvapanam means extinguished. when the root cause is taken care of, when the root cause is uprooted, can there be any possibility of the disease to continue? No. The root cause of our material entanglement, the cause of our suffering in this material nature, is our polluted consciousness. So when the consciousness is purified, then the disease is cured. So that is the effect, practically, immediate effect of chanting the holy name of the Lord. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. And then begins the spiritual influence. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. The benediction moon starts to spread its influence. So transcendental or the spiritual effect begins to influence our consciousness or our existence. And as a result of that, the all transcendental knowledge becomes revealed in the heart. Vidyavadhu Jivanam. The Sankirtan movement is a prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge that this holy name is the source of all transcendental knowledge. Because the holy name is Krishna himself. So that when the holy name rises in the horizon of our heart, then transcendental knowledge becomes automatically manifest in our hearts. This transcendental knowledge, the uniqueness of this transcendental knowledge is that it is not something that we have to externally acquire. Nayam atma prabochanena labhya na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. This knowledge cannot be achieved by extensive studies or memorizing and even argument and debates. It is something that will automatically become manifest in the heart. As we sing every day, Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita. The transcendental knowledge is revealed in the heart. So when the pure chanting of the holy name takes place, when the holy name begins to influence us, begins to influence our consciousness, like first is purification, and due to that purification of our consciousness, the material suffering condition disappears and the spiritual influence begins to dawn. And that takes place in this way. Like the transcendental knowledge is revealed in the heart. An analogy can be considered in this respect. A source of light, say for example, a bulb light bulb is painted with black paint. Will there be any light coming out? Although the light may be on, but the light won't come out. Now if we scrape that dark paint off, then what will happen? The light will automatically become manifest. Since we all are spiritual beings, the spiritual knowledge, since we are part and parcel of Krishna, this chit aspect, the knowledge aspect is there in us. But unfortunately, due to our material conditioning, that that knowledge is covered. And that's why it's not coming out. So when the Cheto Darpana Marjanam, when the dirt or the covering is removed, then automatically the light will become manifest. In that respect, we can consider one anecdote. Rishi Dhamma was the Kula Guru of the Pandavas. So Dhamma had one disciple called Upamanyu. So one day Dhamma got the news that the wall, the mud wall that was made to protect the water in the paddy field. You see, rice paddy needs water. So they have to keep the water by making a kind of a mud wall around the field. So he got the news that somebody came and said that the wall broke and the water is rushing out. So Dhamma told Upamanyu, go and protect the field. We heard that the thing broke, you just mend it, repair it. And so when he went there, he found that the water was coming out in such a speed that he could not actually keep the wall. So he himself laid down there to create the wall to protect the field. So the whole day went by, and then in the evening, at night, Dhamma asked other disciples, what happened to Upamanyu? I don't see him. So they said, you sent him to the field and he didn't come back. So Dhamma went to the field and he found, it was dark, so he couldn't see him there. So he started to call out, Upamanyu, Upamanyu, where are you? And Upamanyu responded, Gurudev, I am here. Where are you? I am lying down to protect the field. You asked me to protect the field and there was no way I could do that. So I just laid down to mend the wall with my own body. So Rishi Dhamma asked him, come back. And when he came, he just blessed him. Let all 4 Vedas become revealed in your heart. And just due to his blessings, all the Vedas became revealed in his heart. So this is how the transcendental reality works. It has been pointed out that na medhaya na bahuna shutena. Scholarship and intelligence and all these is not really going to work. It's a matter of Dibba Gyan Hriday Prakashita. So this is how the holy name actually influences our consciousness. Krishna becomes manifest through the holy name because the holy name is non-different from Krishna. This is the most important thing to understand. That we got the holy name. Holy name is not a thing of this world. It is not just some material sound vibration. The holy name descended from the spiritual sky. Krishna manifested himself in the form of holy name. It's an incarnation of Krishna. Just as Krishna descends, as the deities. Deities apparently are made of earth. So, now is the deity of Krishna material form? or this Vigraha is non-different from Krishna himself. Just as these deities are non-different from Krishna, the holy name of Krishna is also non-different from himself. Rather, in this age of Kali, the holy names are most effective. Krishna's manifestation in this age of Kali is in the form of his holy name. Therefore, nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatirannatha. Besides taking shelter of the holy name, there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. This is the only way. The next verse actually makes that point clear. How many of you remember the next verse? I'm sure all of you. No? Yeah, how many of you remember the next verse? Very good. Actually, make it a point to memorize all these verses. Although by memorizing verses you are not going to get elevated to the spiritual sky, but it helps. It helps. Therefore, this practice is necessary. Because it helps for consciousness to get the impression of the spiritual reality. It may not be able to elevate us to the spiritual sky, but it gives us an understanding of the spiritual reality. Nam nam akari bahudha. I'll just go word for word meaning of this verse. Okay, I'll just go straight to the translation. O my Lord, okay, let's recite the verse. Nam nam akari bahudha nija sarva saktis tatrarpita niyamita smaranena kala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaivam midrisham ihajaninanuraga. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of transcendental names such as Krishna and Govinda, in which you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are no hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you have enabled us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. So in this verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is making it clear that the holy name is non-different from Krishna. Although Krishna has so many names, Bahudha, many. Prabhupada translated it as hundreds of millions of names, transcendental names. But in each name you have invested your entire potency. So if Krishna's potency is there, Krishna's energies are there, then is there any difference between the name and Krishna himself? Krishna's energy is just one-fold, or Krishna's energy is multifarious? Krishna's energy actually is absolute. Krishna, parasya shaktir bibidhaiva shruyate. Krishna's energy, Krishna's Shakti, although they are manifold, but they are generally categorized in three categories. They are Sandhini, Sambit, and Ladini. The Sandhini aspect is the existence aspect. his form, etc. are Sandhini. Consciousness aspect is Chit and Ananda aspect is Ladini. So if all of Krishna's energy is invested there in the holy name, then can this holy name be anything different from Krishna himself? It's a common sense consideration. Krishna's energy is not like ours, divided. This energy, the energy in this form, energy in that form. No, Krishna's energy is all transcendental. And in this energy, the four aspect is Nam, Roop, Gun and Leela. Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's qualities and Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's activities. So all are there in the holy name. Krishna himself is there in the holy name. But it is in the form of Nam, sound vibration. And from the name, Krishna's form will become manifest. It's there. To us, the name will reveal Krishna's form. Krishna himself will appear through his name. Along with Krishna, naturally, Krishna's qualities will appear. When Krishna appears, then will Krishna's qualities be separate from him? No, Krishna's qualities are there with him. And naturally, Krishna's pastimes also will become manifest with him. So this is the identity of the holy name that has been revealed here. But Durdaivam idrisham, but my misfortune, Durdaivam, my misfortune is Nanuraga. I do not have any anurag. I do not have any taste. I do not have any attachment. I do not have any love for this holy name. So Mahaprabhu is taking our position and making this point. Durdaivam, it's a misfortune. Why this misfortune? Because we are so entangled in the material nature. And that's why Maya is so strong. It's very strong because we are here. Our senses are not naturally dragging us towards the objects of the senses. Dhayate vishayan pungsha shangaste shubhajayate. The objects of the senses are dragging our consciousness through towards the object of the senses. All of us practically go through this difficulty. So many times I hear devotees saying that when I'm chanting, my mind actually flickers, my mind wavers, runs here and there, what to do? That is the challenge. In one hand, Krishna's illusory energy is constantly attracting us. That's what Maya is doing. Constantly trying to attract us towards this external direction, away from Krishna. Maya has two functions, avaranatmika and bikshepatmika. The illusory energy of Krishna, avaranatmika, covers us with ignorance, avidya. And bikshepatmika throws us away, takes us away from Krishna, prevents us from going towards Krishna. That's a taste. She is actually tasting us. Oh, you want to become Krishna conscious? Let's see how serious you are. And Maya is alluring. Come, enjoy me. And this is a taste. The real taste is Maya will try to entice us, allure us, but our position will be please let me go to Krishna. This has been very beautifully explained in Brihad Bhagavatamrita second part. When Gop Kumar is going back to the spiritual sky, in his journey back to the spiritual sky, after covering the 7 layers of this material nature, 7 layers of the universe, he comes to the final layer of Maya. And Maya Devi herself, personally, is worshipping the Mohini Murti of the Lord. And so Maya Devi is personally telling Gop Kumar, why are you leaving? Come stay here. Enjoy with me. Can you imagine how enticing that can be? Like great sages fell down just by being allured by some apsaras, some celestial damsels. But here Maya Devi herself is personally alluring. Why are you leaving? Stay here. There is so much enjoyment here. What was Gop Kumar's response? Please bless me that I can go and serve your brother. Because Krishna is her brother. So this is how Mame vaje prapoddante maya metang tarantite. If we can remain fixed up in Krishna consciousness, then Maya will not be able to influence us. Rather, Maya will be happy to help us. Prabhupada gives that example. The identity of Maya has been compared to a policeman. Prabhupada gives the example of Maya as a policeman. To a criminal, a policeman is an object of fear. But to a law-abiding person, the policeman is a source of security. And when that person, that law-abiding person, has to go and meet the king or the president, that same policeman escorts him to the king. So this is Maya. To those who are Krishna Bahirmukh, those who are averse to Krishna, Maya is Mahamaya. The illusory aspect. And those who are surrendered to Krishna, to them, Maya is Yogamaya. She is helping that devotee to become engaged in the service of Krishna. So beautifully Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us the holy name and its meaning and its purpose. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande Hari. Does anybody have any question or comment? Yes. Take the mic.
Thank you for the class, Maharaj. Quick question on the holy name. You know, you said that everything is revealed when you chant the holy name purely. Even though studying scriptures helps us and memorization helps purify our consciousness to get to that point, but if you have a realization that the holy name is all in all, you have full faith in it, and you chant, devote all your time to chanting, and maybe not so much to reading, but trying to really come to grasp in that, is that okay? Or should we read also, as Srila Prabhupada said, to scrutinizingly read the books?
It will depend how literate you are, how fond you are of reading, how interested you are in getting information. One who is interested in that way, he or she will make an effort in that way. Like study because the informations are there. Just like, say for example, say you want to go to, say, Russia. You're interested to go to Russia. Now, there can be two kinds of approach. One is before going there, you want to get all kinds of informations, right? But those informations are not going to be the same as going to Russia. Those informations are not going to give you the real understanding of being in Russia. But another person, he's not so much interested in getting all the information. He's simply waiting. When I go there, I'll see it for myself. So similarly, it will depend on our personal attitude. Those who are interested, yes, all kinds of information are available, and you'll get that. And especially for preaching. These informations are very, very necessary. Because to inspire others, to give others an impression or idea what that reality is like, you have to. You have to have the information yourself. Although you may not have gone there and see the place yourself, but by reading from the books you can get the information. But if one is not preaching, just depending upon his own purification, then it's up to him. But even then, even though they are not preaching, even though they are situated for the benefit of others, they do that. Just like the Goswamis of Vrindavan. Nana Shastra Vicharenaiko Nipuno Sadharma Sangstapako. The Goswamis didn't need any, and there was no need for them to study all the scriptures. But they did that in order to establish Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. So it will depend upon attitude and purpose. Yeah, I'll take Krishna Balaram and then I'll take yours. Yeah. You had a question. Hands up. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. In Lord Chaitanya's Leelas, there are a few personalities who were attracted to Lord Ramchandra, like Murari Gupta and Anupam. And so initially Lord Chaitanya encouraged them to worship Krishna, but then he saw that it was firm, he was allowed. So my question is, some devotees, if they have attachment or attraction to certain forms of the Lord, which are other than, Nandanandan Krishna, while of course practicing bhakti, chanting Hare Krishna, is that okay, or should one?
Well, since Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approved it, who am I to say whether it's okay or not? He did that to Murari Gupta, he did that to Anupam, and especially Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami, when they tried to convince Anupam, their own brother, to develop his attachment to Krishna, because he was actually attached to Lord Ramchandra. Anupam, who is the father of Srila Jiva Goswami, he took one night to think it over. And the next morning, he came and said, look, I thought about it the whole night. I can't give up my attachment to Lord Ramchandra. So then they said, the glorious is the master. Glorious is the servant who doesn't give up the master. And glorious is the master who doesn't give up his servant. So if one has his sarup in that, if his spiritual identity is in relation to Lord Ramchandra, then let him go there.
Specifically because recently I read this Manas Siksha by Raghunath Das Goswami, in which one of the verses he says that one should give up attachment to Lakshmipati and he should focus his attention or attraction specifically to
Krishna Chandra.
Yeah, I mean that is a specific instruction. One should give up the rati towards Lakshmipati. Lakshmipati ratim hitva, something like that.
But if in spite of trying one cannot, then what to do? Yes?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for this very beautiful class. I just have one question, that while chanting, how do we take this Maya Devi? Should we keep on asking blessings, or like as Prabhupada said, that while we are chanting, it's the war that we have declared against Maya Devi?
Yeah. That war, that is the Maya's illusory influence. Not Maya's devotional influence. The illusory influence we give up. But that means we struggle to overcome, to free ourselves from the illusory influence. Because the senses are actually taking us towards the objects of the senses. And the purpose of these objects of the senses is to try to enjoy them. Like we become attracted to things that are pleasing to our senses. And by acquiring them, exploiting them, we gratify our senses. So that is the influence of Mahamaya. So that we have to try to win over. And the way to win over is not struggling. Who will be able to struggle against Maya? But the way to do it is by taking shelter of Krishna. And when we take shelter of Krishna, then Maya's feature changes. From Mahamaya, she becomes Yogamaya. So come, I will take you to Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Karnamrita?
Thank you so much for speaking on such nice, inspirational shlokas about chanting. It seems a lot these days that personality is becoming difficult for people to do. It's a little easier these days to manifest things that are easier and impersonal, and therefore I find sometimes in chanting, especially the different styles of chanting, the names of Krishna are becoming pop culture also, and very used in some way. There's some chanting where the melody is more important, or the rhythm is more important, and the mantra feels like it's left behind. Or people are using names of Krishna that don't know any personal relationship with Krishna. It's become a concert, or it's become a mantra without knowing what mantra. He speaks so nicely about Krishna's energy being in his names and the potency being revealed so beautifully. And I get how Krishna's energy seems so unaware at some events. Krishna's seems to be like Mahaprabhu.
The mic is breaking, the sound. Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, it's is the battery. Anyway, I can hear you.
It has to do. But it seems like some places there's a potency that's being requested because of process. And in some places there's in South there's potency available and others. And I wonder, sometimes I wonder if the potency is there. And I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit on how Krishna's energy and potency is there even in the person.
Hmm.
I want to be connected personally to anyone.
Yeah. See, Up to the pure stage of chanting, there are two other phases or phases. Like one is offensive and the other is clearing. So, if the offenses are not there, if one is not offending the holy name or committing the offenses to the holy name, then it will be the clearing stage of chanting. And in clearing stage also there are two aspects. One is reflection and the other is shadow. Like the shadow has been, it's being covered by the cloud. The sun is there in the sky, but it is not visible because of the cloud, but the impression of the sun in the form of light is there. So then eventually the cloud will get cleared and the sun will become visible. But the reflection is not going to give that benefit. So Namabhash also has two aspects, positive aspect and negative aspect. The negative aspect is the reflection. The substance is not in the reflection. Right? And and that is also, although Namabhash, clearing stage, but it is an offense. That is, the reflection is the Mayavad aspect. You see, appearing to be like Krishna, but Krishna is not there. The impersonalists, they have some sort of impression of Krishna, but it is opposite to Krishna's. Because Krishna can be understood only through devotion. Not by merging with him, we can understand him. So, the point actually is that if one is chanting, even if it is not at a pure stage, even if he did not really didn't really understand the holy name or didn't really understand Krishna as such, but if the offenses are not there, the holy name will eventually lead to pure chanting. That's why we should encourage chanting, but at the same time, one should be also warned not to develop this offensive attitude, to avoid 10 offenses, and avoid impersonalistic attitude. And that is why the association of devotees is so important. It is only through association of devotees, proper devotees, we actually get the right understanding and move forward in the right direction. Thank you. Okay, last question. Already past 9 o'clock, Shaman. Okay, you say it because the mic is not working.
My question was on the point of Nam Nam Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis, where you explain that all the energies are in the holy name and therefore it is non-different from Krishna. I was just trying to understand the philosophical understanding we have. Firstly, we stem from the Dvaita Sampradaya, that the energy and the energetic are separate. So the energy is not necessarily the energetic. Then Mahaprabhu gave the Achintya Bheda Bhed, that, there is similarity as well. So when it is said that something has all the energies of the Lord, how do we understand that is the Lord himself? Because it is a possibility, like we ourselves are also one energy of the Lord. Maya, like you have been talking about, is also one energy. So is the holy name a particular energy or a very special energy of the Lord or the Lord himself?
Yeah. Okay. This energy of Krishna is manifest in 3 ways: external, marginal, and internal. So external energy is separate from Krishna, right? Therefore, external energy is not really accounted here. Marginal energy is the jivas. So there also, not really rather this consideration is help the marginal energy to come back to the spiritual world. Right? So this way, this is dealing with entirely Krishna's internal energy. Krishna himself. That is what it is. Like, although the Shakti and Shaktiman is abheda, but then again, the Shakti, manifestation of Shakti is not taking place here in these two aspects. The marginal energy and external energy. It is dealing only with Krishna's internal energy. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Hare Hare.